Welcome to the Whiskey Explorer. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode, guys. And if you haven't had a chance to do so already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let us know what you think about this whiskey, and we'll get the conversation continued at the Whiskey Explorer. So my apologies, after a brief hiatus, I just restarted with the school year, so work was rather busy, and I just haven't had time to throw together a review for you guys. But we are back, and we are going to do a review of another Japanese whiskey tonight. This is Nikka From the Barrel. Alright, so Nikka From the Barrel is of course from Nikka Distillery, and it is a blend of grain and malt whiskeys from their Yoichi and Miyagikyo distilleries. And it's actually presented at a pretty nice 51.4% alcohol by volume, or ABV. And so that's actually quite close to cask strength for this whiskey, which is really awesome to see. Here in Canada, we get it in these little 500 milliliter bottles. It's a pretty cute little bottle there, as you can see. And it's actually got this silver kind of screw top to it. So that's a little bit different. I would definitely love to see a cork on this. I think that'd be extra cool. But I just love this really elegant and very typically Japanese design. It's just kind of minimalist, understated, but super beautiful. I really, really like the look of this bottle. And actually, when you're walking through the liquor store, choosing out, you know, your favorite whiskey or what you'd like to take home for Japanese whiskey, this one certainly stands out. Now, in the States, this has actually been released at 750 milliliters, so very lucky for them in the States that they get to enjoy even more of the Nikka From the Barrel. And this whiskey right here, what's interesting about it as well is that we're not actually sure that this would classify under the new rules that they came out with just about, I think it was about a year ago, where the Japanese whiskey rules got overhauled, and now a Japanese whiskey, in order for it to be called a Japanese whiskey, has to actually be fermented, distilled, and aged all in Japan. So this Nikka whiskey from the barrel is actually one of the whiskeys that sort of doesn't meet those classifications anymore. So the rumor is this is actually Ben Nevis Scotch, so single malt Scotch from the Ben Nevis distillery, which Nikka also owns. But nevertheless, we'll give it a try here on the channel, and we'll let you know what my thoughts are on Nikka From the Barrel. All right, so let's take a quick color check on the color in the glass here. So actually, when you look at it in the bottle, and I've had this before, and I swear that it was like a darker hue to this one. Like in previous iterations or previous batches of this, I could have sworn it was like a darker kind of like richer, deeper, darker kind of like a mahogany type color to it. But looking in the glass at this one, it's actually fairly light. It's sort of more like a light amber color, kind of a very light or pale copper color to it. But definitely looks nice in the glass for sure, very inviting. So we'll go in for a nose. Cheers. Oh, it's like a beautiful kind of butterscotch toffee on the nose right away. Butterscotch and toffee are definitely dominant, but there's also some rich kind of dark fruits in there, almost thinking like plum. Maybe even like fig note in there. It's very kind of rich and sweet and decadent. This one really smells like it would be a fantastic dessert whiskey. Yep, so vanilla, caramel, butterscotch, toffee, deep rich fruit, so like there's some plum going on there. Almost like a fig note to it as well. It kind of like reminds me of the scent of like a raspberry fig Newton almost. Like I'm sort of getting that vibe from it. It's really, really nice, kind of almost got that kind of sugar cookie note to it as well. And then there is like a little bit of sweetness and spice in the background, like brown sugar and kind of cinnamon mixed in there a little bit. All right, let's go into the palate. Cheers. Okay, so the first kind of note that I get kind of hits the palate It's actually like fully enveloping on the palate, so nice, really rich, kind of full-bodied whiskey. You can definitely sense a little bit of the heat there, so there is like a little bit of an ethanol hit at the very beginning when you take your first sip. The very first note I got was like a very nice, kind of rich malt characteristic, kind of cereal malt, a little bit of grain, sweet malt flavor. And then there's sort of a development into those rich, deep fruits. So it's almost like plum or blackberries in there. And then there is a little bit of honey sweetness that comes into play, a little bit of brown sugar. And then the finish on it is a really, really nice kind of spicy finish. So it's like cinnamon, black pepper, a little bit of white pepper in there, and a nice, long-lasting finish. Let's go in for a second sip and see what else I got on the palate here. Cheers. That's just a beautiful, delicious, rich, full-bodied whiskey experience. Comes right in with this kind of sweet, honeyed malt character. It's nice, it's deep, it's rich, it's dark. Then there's like brown sugar, a little almost like hint of maple syrup in there. Then you get those like deep, dark fruit notes. So there's like some plum or some like stewed fruits in there. A little bit of fig. Really nice kind of transition to like a honey note in the center of the palate, kind of mid-palate. Mid-palate is also where you can appreciate all that kind of malt and grain. It's really kind of nice and well-balanced. Nice rich malt in there. Very nice malty character. And then the finish, you get that hint of spice, so like cinnamon spice, a little bit of cracked black pepper as well. So nice kind of spicy finish, which is nice, long, and lingering. All right, and the price point here in BC, we get this for about 65 Canadian. So it's actually, in terms of Japanese whiskey, it's actually representing a very good value. I know that it's a smaller bottle at 500 milliliters, but I definitely think if you guys pick this one up, you will not be disappointed. So if you haven't tried it yet, go out and buy a bottle of the Nikka from the Barrel. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So until next time, thanks so much for joining me for another review. May your sails be full and your drams be fuller. Cheers.